Stormcrow says, Captain Garrett, sir, just to know, how do you keep track of character relationships? I got 3 main POVs, and keeping those relationships on track and non-tangled is a bit of a challenge. Fun, though. I'll give you 2 suggestions. Write at least a paragraph on every character. Their backstory, who they are, what they want, what motivates them, who are their friends. And honestly, as long as you want to make it, go for it, but at least a paragraph on every single character, even minor characters. What do they want? What's motivating them? Those are usually kind of the, if you know nothing else about a character, what do they want? That's super important. Because I'm telling you, it sounds easy, it sounds obvious, but honest to God, like Ahsoka. What does she want in the Ahsoka? I don't know. Nick Fury, what does he want? I don't know. Like, he doesn't seem to want to solve anything. Anyway, timelines are very good. Kind of knowing dates. At this date, this is when this happened, and at this date, this is when. That's actually very helpful. That's actually very helpful. Keep a timeline, paragraph backstory. Finally, here's how I look at every character I write, okay? And by the way, I learned this by studying writers that I like. Like, I watch Breaking Bad and I just dissect everything. I'm like, why is Gus Fring so interesting? Why was that scene so frightening? Why was I on the edge of my seat? Like, what was moving that? Like, I'm always asking these questions. I've been this way since I was a kid. Every single story I watch, why do I like it? Why did I think that joke was funny? I'm always analyzing every level of a story. And I guess some of it just seeped in. So what I have noticed is that every good character in fiction, they have a conscious desire and they have a subconscious desire. And then they have an even, if you want to get really deep, the best characters like Walter White, for example, have an even subconscious desire. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, every character has the side of themselves that they are conscious of and that they know, because this is humans, by the way. We all have what we think of as our identity. But then we do things that even we don't understand. We're like, why did I say that mean thing to that person? That's not me. I don't do that. Well, yes, it is you, because that's a subconscious belief system that's working without you knowing it, right? This is why the best characters do things that even they don't understand why they did it. But there is a reason. That's important. It's not random. There is a reason. It's just that they don't know that reason. That's important. So what I always say is, what does your character consciously want? Now, what do they subconsciously want? Walter White, chemistry teacher, he's broke as hell. He's got cancer. On the conscious level, he wants to take care of his family. He wants to leave a legacy. He wants to, he doesn't want to die a loser working at a car wash, leaving his family broke. And so because of that, he decides to start cooking meth with a former high school student. And he also decides to conceal the fact that he has lung cancer because he thinks that once he has the money to take care of his family, then he can tell them, is kind of what I'm guessing based on that's my reading of the show. He thinks that once he's got the money and all the affairs are in order, then he'll have the moment of confession and he'll tell the family, everyone's crying, but don't worry, there's a nest egg for you. It's all taken care of. Well, of course, the meth business is a little more complicated than that, and that day just never comes. It just keeps getting worse and worse for him. However, now that's the conscious level. That's the story that Walter White is telling himself, okay? Now there's a subconscious level. The subconscious level is that Walter White had an idea back when he was in college for this chemical formula, and he got a bunch of patents. And he started a company called Gray Matter with his 2 closest friends, one of whom he was in love with, this girl that he was in love with, right? However, he got irritated, he got frustrated with their ideas, and they had a falling out, and they broke up. And he sold his shares in the company for like $12,000 to them, okay? That company went on to become a multi-billion-dollar company. So in other words, he quit Apple right before Apple became Apple. That's basically his story. That is the shame that he lives with every day. He is a proud man. He's a very intelligent man. He's very proud of his intelligence. But here, right in his face, is this monumentally stupid thing that he did. And he hates himself for it. But he doesn't consciously know that. He subconsciously feels this way. This is why he won't accept their charity. He won't ask them for help. And he even hates them when they offer him charity. There's a scene in which that woman, I forget her name. What the hell was her name? I forget. Anyway, she's only in a couple episodes. She shows up and tries to offer him help, and he says, fuck you. Why does he do that? Well, subconsciously, it's because he resents that they are successful. They stole his legacy. So what I'm getting at is consciously he wants to provide for his family. Subconsciously, he wants to fix that wrong. He wants to correct that mistake. I should have been a billionaire titan. That was my birthright. And it was ruined. It was stolen from me. The meth empire is a way to get that, right? But there's a third layer that's even deeper than that, right? What is it? I'm not sure, but it's there. But I would probably say off the top of my head, without thinking about it for a minute, I would probably say that the third layer deep with Walter White is his pride. It's the fact that he has always had a burning, his plan for his life was to do something special, something extraordinary, something the world would remember, like Elon Musk getting on Mars. He had a legacy in store for his life. But instead, what happened is he wound up a boring high school teacher with a kind of boring, like he loves Skylar and he loves Junior, but secretly on this third deep level, secretly, his son is a cripple. His wife is kind of boring. She sells knickknacks on eBay. Oh, that's boring. She's not a genius like he is. She's not his equal intellectually. And he loves her, but that annoys him. Jesse Pinkman is really the son he kind of wishes he had, which is partly why he hates Jesse, because he feels guilty and he knows he shouldn't. But secretly, without him even knowing this, now I could go through like all the clues in the show that reveal all this. I have all supportable reasons for why I think all this. Like, for example, there's a scene in the past where him and Skylar are buying his house, and he says this flippant remark like, oh, it'll do for now, because he knows that someday it's going to be a big old mansion, right? But that never happened, right? So that's a clue to this third layer that like he always envisioned. And finally, in the last actually, it was in El Camino. They do a flashback where he tells Jesse, "You're lucky that you didn't have to wait your whole life to do something special." So that's it. So the top layer is I want to help my family. Second layer is I want to fix the mistake of losing my company. But the deepest layer is I was supposed to do something special with my life, and I failed. This is my only second chance at that. Building a meth empire, which, by the way, is sick. Like that is a sick thing to do, to correct that. But that's how we are as people. Our deepest layers is where the weirdest shit comes out of us. You know what I mean? Like the weirdest things we do as people is because of that really deep-seated, I wasn't loved as a child. You know what I mean? Like that's where that comes from. So, and we all fall victim to this. We don't build meth empires necessarily. So Stormcrow, that is my long way of saying, if you really, and it's work, but if you really want to have great characters, you got to have those, I would say go 3 levels deep. Now, you don't have to write a novel about all that stuff. You just have like one paragraph consciously wants, one paragraph subconsciously wants, one paragraph deep-seated issue with. And what'll happen is your character will have multiple, without you even having to think about it, they'll act out in strange ways that are natural because it's like you just know. And it will make sure that your characters are always different because they don't... you will know the things that they would never say and they would never do, and you'll know the things that they absolutely would do. This is why, by the way, Secret Invasion is bullshit. This is why modern Star Wars sucks. This is why the shills are wrong, because they're clapping for characters that don't even have a very convincing surface layer. Like, Ahsoka does not have a convincing surface layer. She does not have anything approaching a subconscious layer or a sub-subconscious layer. She just doesn't have that level of depth. Neither does Sabine, neither does Ezra, none of the characters, not even Ray Stevenson's Balon has any of that. Now, they have appearances of that, but they don't actually have it. Grogu doesn't have any of this. The Mandalorian doesn't have any of this. Bo-Katan doesn't have any of this. This is why these characters are so badly received, because they're very simplistic characters. They don't actually have... So I'm giving you a model. Just ask yourself those questions. What does my character want at this level? What does he not know that he really wants? But deep, deep down, what is the thing he wants that he would never even believe if you told him that that's what he wants? By the way, this gives you great fodder for your villains because your villains will sniff this out. Your smart villains will figure this out. They'll say, you say that you're out here to get justice, but isn't it true that what you really want? And then they'll give him some line and it'll get under the main character's skin. And then they'll get pissed. Like, I'm going to kill you. That's where you get great characters interacting because the author knows those layers. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you loved this clip. Please like and subscribe. And did you know you can join us live every Sunday on the Captain's Cast live show? That's at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, every Sunday. You can join me and the rest of the crew in the live chat as we set sail for more amazing adventures in entertainment, film, video games, etc. And until next time, my dear sailors and starnauts, this is Captain Garrett saying, I will see you out there.